Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. In today's video, I'm going to show you 14 projects I created using this month's Paper Pumpkin Kit. It is July 2019 and the kit is called On My Mind. Stick around till the end of the video and I will unbox my second kit. Let's get started. Each month, my subscribers receive a surprise crafty kit in the mail. So this kit was pretty cool because it's called, On My Mind, and it has You've Been on My Mind, which is nice, for especially for us Georgia folks. Georgia on my mind, right? And what's special about this month's kit is the catalog coordination. And it's explaining that you can coordinate the cards and projects with the Woven Thread Suite, which is based on some of our ink colors, the Garden Lane Suite, which is based on all kinds of cool green colors, and the Come Sail Away Suite, which you may have seen. I've already created 40 projects with that suite, and there's a video on my 40 projects. Okay, I didn't even need to go into any of those suites and use any of those supplies and designer series papers, but I know that my stamps will coordinate with them. So I think that's pretty exciting. And wait till I get to that. I didn't even start that. So all I did was use the supplies that came in the kit for the 14 projects I'm going to show you, with the exception of one piece of Whisper White cardstock to do some extra stamping of a seashell. And that was it. I used only the materials here, and I got to 14 projects, and I probably could have created about 2 or 3 more, but I sort of ran out of most of my supplies. But I do have another kit because each month I order 2 kits. All right, so let's get started. There are instructions, and if you've been following my channel, you know that I don't really read the instructions. If you want to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, there is a link on my Stampin' Up store on how to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, and my Stampin' Up store is paperchef.stampinup.net. All of my new subscribers are going to get one of the cards that I'm showing in this video today, and if I run out of cards, I'll make more for you. I mean, I love to have new subscribers. All right, so let's just kind of go with I'm going to start with the Woven Thread Suite. That's the one in the middle, and so I'm going to just show you like a card I made instead of the card that they came up with, and I just made a happy birthday card because I need a lot of happy birthday cards. Okay, so to make this card, there's coordinating lined envelopes inside. Okay, this is Pretty Peacock, and so it does come with a stamping spot. I will tell you, but what I like to do is I like to use my own ink. So if I have, and then I give the stamping spots out as prizes and things. So I used like a bigger Pretty Peacock to stamp that. And at the same time, I want to explain that there's a lot of coordinating colors with this suite. So for example, this particular one is all the ink colors. So that Seaside Spray coordinates. So does Terracotta Tile. So you're going to see in these projects those colors. Okay, so I did use my own ink sometimes. There's a roll of twine that came with the kit, and there's lots of little sequins that came with the kit. So I just layered it up, did some stamping right onto the card. This was a card base, and that's how I made that. Then I wanted to extend it further, and I took a mini pizza box. Okay, and I then stamped. I used Terracotta Tile for the stamping the Hello Friend. Every Paper Pumpkin kit comes with a stamp set, and I only used the sentiments from the stamp set for all of these projects. Okay, the Hello Friend, and I put some extra little sequins on there, and again layered it up, Terracotta Tile, pieces of this paper. And then for this, there's a nice medallion in the stamp set. You're going to get to see the stamp set, and I stamped it in Terracotta Tile, and then I sliced out pieces. Okay, and this is like the designer series paper, but they gave you all the paper I'm using again, and all the cardstock is from this month's kit. Okay, what can you put in your little box? I always get asked this. You can put Hershey Nuggets, you can put chocolates, you can put candies, coffee packs. But I made a little card to put inside with some of my leftover materials, and there's that medallion that I was telling you about, and I stamped that medallion in Terracotta Tile. And when I embellish, I like to do it in groups of 3, so that's why I put the 3 little sequins. The sequins were already self-adhesive, and I went through a whole pack of sequins on this project. Okay, so You're the Best was another sentiment that came with the project, and then I added the ribbon to that. Okay, in keeping with this suite, I wanted to go on and use a punch, and I use this a lot in my projects. And this is the punch I use for the next 2 projects, and it is called, dun, 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 I'm trying to label everything, the Delightful Tag Topper Punch. And the Delightful Tag Topper Punch lets you make bookmarks and what I call my tag treats, which I have several videos on YouTube to show you how to make the tag treats. Okay, so this is a tag treat. And so I just took one of the cards, one of these card bases, and I took it and I just made it into the tag topper treat. And I put little mini Tic Tacs in there. I kind of ran out of room. That's why there's a little bit of white showing. I used the envelope. Oh, I should have told you. I used the envelope liner for this. Okay, the envelope liner is the part around the outside. And then I just did You're the Best, stamped in Pretty Peacock, with behind that the medallion and terracotta tile, and used the little linen thread that came with it for that tag treat. Okay, so I have a lot of leftover envelopes because I didn't make as many cards, so you can use the envelopes to make these kinds of things. And again, lots of things fit in there. Tootsie Rolls, nuggets, Hershey miniatures, all kinds of things fit in there. I'm just doing a lot of mailings this summer, and I needed to use something that's not going to melt. I got these at an airport. One of my viewers did find them online on YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, on Amazon as well. But they're very expensive on Amazon. I get them at airports, at the duty-free shops when I'm traveling through airports, and that's the only place I found them that were like a reasonable price. Super cute. There's like eight little Tic Tacs in each little pack, and everybody I send them to is like, oh my gosh. Like I send them to my new team members, and they're like, oh my gosh, where'd you get the Tic Tacs? And I'm like, at the airport. All right, so that's the front of that. That's the back. Okay, now then the last project in this particular suite, I have 3 sets of projects. Okay, just to review, if you're just popping on, I'm using this one here. So right now I'm telling you about my projects that coordinate with the Woven Threads suite. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Okay, there's 3 suites coordinating with this. I'm going to show you Woven Threads, then a Garden Lane, and then Come Sail Away, because Come Sail Aways are my favorite. Okay, and then my favorite, of course, of the colors and the scheme. Okay, and then I made a bookmark, and I did a lot of layering on this bookmark. So first I stamped the medallions in terracotta tile, and I stamped them all on the back of the cardstock that came with the set. I used the Hello Friend. These are sentiments with the gold foiling that came, the sentiments meaning I stamped this in terracotta tile, but the sentiments, this little gold foiling, came with the kit. So there were actually little things you just pop out. I love that. You're going to get to see that. And then I just did lots of layering. This is Seaside Spray. There's the Seaside Spray. I cut little pieces of that, pieces of terracotta tile, pieces of this designer series paper. So that's why I have 1 card there, because I cut up the other cards to make my pizza box and to make my bookmark. Okay, and you could actually add other ribbons to your bookmarks. I sometimes like to add 2 ribbons, but I was just trying to see what I could create with only the supplies from this kit. All right, so I'm going to move those coordinating colors out of the way because I like to show you them just because they go together better. I like to show you the coordinating colors, separately. So now, okay, I'm going to show you the Garden Lane. I only made a few with that because I kind of had to hijack the Garden Lane materials and put them into some other suites or make other cards with them. But I did use for this one, okay, On My Mind and these bookmarks, coordinating projects. Okay, I used this punch. I thought Garden Lane, every time I've been sending out Garden Lane samples with that DSP, I've been using this butterfly punch. It's been working well for me. It's called the Butterfly Duet. I don't have a label on it. And this punch, I was just able to cut out the extra pieces. I was able to punch out white, this olive, mossy meadow. Let me show you the coordinating color, or the colors I used for these are just the projects I used here. I used mossy meadow, old olive, and mint macaron. Okay, that's what's in these projects from the Garden Lane. And that's what I particularly chose to use because on the inside of the paper pumpkin kit, it tells you coordinating colors. Okay, so what I did is I took these cards. I don't know if you can see how cool these cards are, this cardstock. It has little ridges. It's like textured cardstock, little dots, and I absolutely love that. So what I did is I took that cardstock and I cut it into 2-inch strips by 5 1/4, and then I cut some of the extra designer series paper up, and I punched out some cards in suede. That little thing's supposed to be centered. Then I used the little elements from the cards that came in the kit. I popped all these little elements out, these little sprigs. I put You're the Best, and actually for that I did use Pretty Peacock because I already had stamped it, although Pretty Peacock goes with the other suite better. This one I stamped it in Old Olive, this one onto Mint Macaron. Okay, and I did You're the Best. And then I just took all my little rhinestones and I added them to the little butterflies. I cut out the small butterfly from the top, in different colors. Whenever I could find a little scrap of paper, I made the little butterflies, and that's what I did for that. And then I added the little sequins to the butterflies to give it a little bit of bling, and I tried to do everything in threes. 3 sprigs, 3 butterflies, 3 sequins, and you're the best in threes. Okay, so that's how I decided to do those bookmarks. And then for the card, again, the foiling, the You've Been on My Mind, stamped in, I believe, Old Olive, but it could be Mossy Meadow, because I stamped them as I got my kit. I just got my kit yesterday in the mail, so my kits. It was Monday, so this is Tuesday. So I just got the kits, and then so last night I did the stamping part. I do everything in stages. I did the stamping of the sentiments, and I popped the little, I don't want to say widgets, but the little embellishments out of their little containers, and that was it. And then today I did the punching, embellishing, setting up how I was going to make my projects. Okay, and on the inside of this card, it didn't have a white lining. I decided to put a white lining because I thought it would be hard to write on the craft paper. Not that it's rigid, but just it would be hard to see. Okay, so that's the Garden Lane Suite. I'm going to keep the mossy, oh, and by the way, that's the inside lining of the envelopes. Okay, I'm going to keep the Mossy Meadow out because that's one of the colors for the next section. My favorite section. I did the most projects with, or my favorite projects, I should say, with this suite. And that is, here's some coordinating colors. Okay, so it is a Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, Balmy Blue. I did the seashells in these colors, and then I did some Sahara Sand. Okay, no more butterfly. I definitely used this punch again because I use that for my treats and bookmarks. I'm going to start with a little box that I created. Okay, and the little box, You've Been on My Mind, I created using the Simply Scored scoreboard we have at Stampin' Up. It looks like this. What I like about it is I use it sort of as a base for when I'm doing my crafts, and there were 3 of these, maybe more, that came with it that help you mark off the parts that you use a lot. So like I'm always making cards, and I'm always using 4.25, so I mark it off. Of course, since then I've lost them, or I'll find them eventually, but that's a scoreboard, and it comes with a little score tool. And I have shown how to make boxes in this YouTube channel. And if you want to know how to make things like that I'm showing you, I've shown so many of these tutorials on YouTube before. So, but I can also link to them again if you ask me in the comments. But I do have like playlists, and they're based on the topics of, what I was showing. So here's the little box. I'm going to zoom into my little box. These little nautical elements came with the coolest little circle foams, which I'll show you, to help pop them up. So like a circle fit behind there. That's why it's like totally 3D, because it fit with there. Now I did, my crafty friends, use my brother's ScanNCut because there was a seashell stamp, and I couldn't help it. I had to use my ScanNCut to cut out the seashells because I'm not going to fuzzy cut, with those little seashells. But what I did is I stamped them in Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, and Balmy Blue because that went with this theme. And I made the little box using just one card. That's it. This is one card. I'll show you what the card looks like. This is the back of the card and the front of the card. I just chopped the card, and I want to show you my little smidgen trick. So when you're making boxes, when you make the top of a box, you use one size, and then I use the exact same size for the bottom of the box, but you have to cut off what's called a smidgen, like a little tiny strip, to make the bottom of the box a tiny bit smaller than the top of the box. And just use the scoreboard, went old school for that. Okay, so that's my box. And you saw you can just make a pizza, going back to that, you can just decorate a pizza box. We sell these pizza boxes already. Stampin' Up does. So if you don't want to make your own boxes, just decorate a box that's already made. I mean, just go ahead and go for it. Okay, so I then I'm going to show you my cards and tell you about those 3D elements again. And these little pieces, these sailboats, look a lot like the project that I did on YouTube, or the 40 projects I did using Come Sail Away Suite, except the sailboat stamp I have is much smaller than this one. This particular paper pumpkin kit came with 3 sailboats and 3 little steerings. I know there's a name for those. And then I'm going to say, I know I'm going to say steering wheel, and then my viewers are going to be like, ah! And it's seashells. It came with a stamp. It came with lots of clouds, I think 2 or 3 for each card. And it came with these card bases, which are pretty cool. And then it came with these nice nautically lined envelopes. So you get 3 of those. So that you can make 9 full-size cards with this kit as it is. And I like the kit. I just made these just as similar to what the kit was showing me. In fact, I have to go back and kind of look at what the kit was showing. Yeah, but that's a similar card to what it was showing me. I mean, I did some variations of it with my seashell and where I put the lining, but that one's not too far off of what they showed me. In fact, I just sometimes just use the kits for inspiration and try to make what it shows me, and then I just vary it a bit like I did here. Now I took one of the kits out of the garden lane section of this paper pumpkin kit because I like the texture, and I made a nautical male birthday card. And for that, I used this punch here. Okay, for that sentiment, the happy birthday fits perfectly into this punch called the Timeless Label Punch. What I like about this new punch in our new annual catalog is that it's really wide, and so many things fit in there. And I just did one, punched out the card once that way, and then put it in that direction and punched it out once that direction. I inked around the edges a little bit using some soft suede or crumb cake or something like that, just to make the edges a little bit antiqued. And I put my little shell of Night of Navy in the corner. Okay, then again, this is just another lined card. And another time where I put white inside because I like to be able to write the messages. Okay, let's see. Next is You've Been on My Mind. It is a bookmark. And I really like the nautical background of those envelope liners. So what I did is I cut the envelope liner and I put it on Whisper White cardstock. Okay, so the Whisper White cardstock is 2 inches wide. The envelope liner is 1.7 inches wide. I used the delightful, how did we already forget the name of it? And it's right here. I used that tag topper punch I just told you about a minute ago. Here it is. Delightful tag topper punch. And I did that topper, and I did the little linen thread, and I stamped these in Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, and Balmy Blue, and I added the little sequins for some bling bling, and You've Been on My Mind. Pretty sure Old Olive could be Mossy Meadow. Stamped those last night, and that's how I did this bookmark. Then I did my little tag topper treats. Okay, so I did those with the little Tic Tacs inside again, and You're the Best, and Hello Friend, and more of my little shells. And I love how the colors coordinate together, and that 3D little ship's wheel. Okay, for steering. Now to make both of these, I even had leftover materials. I used one card. Okay, one card base, and I was able to get a nice contrast between the foregrounds and the background, and I was able to put those little tag treats. Okay, let's put those there and there so you can see them all together. Hello Friend. There you go. So that was the section on the coordination and how they coordinated with the Come Sail Away suite. So as you can see, if I take those stamps, like this is the thanks from the Come Sail Away suite. If I were to take this stamp, Happy Birthday, it will go perfectly with the suite I already own. And I know some of you have that stamp set. So I'm just letting you know that the fonts and the things that go with, and the colors and the way that these envelope liners, they're going to go with my other suites already. So I can just extend products that I already have. All right, clearing off some space, and I'm going to show you a paper pumpkin kit. I'm going to unbox it. This is the one I haven't opened yet. Okay, each month for $22, including the shipping. If you subscribe, you get a surprise kit in the mail. You're given just one hint. That's it. One hint about what's going to come in the mail. You don't know what it's going to be. Last month it was just such cute little cards, and 16 little cards, and I think there were 16 in a little case. I made lots of little projects with those. They were very beach themed and stuff. They were let's see. They were like a beach themed card and little palm trees, and I think I showed how I even incorporated them in my little dinosaur suite that I have. All right, so you get it, and you always get, so you get, some inspiration about what you can do with it. You get a stamp set, which I use these as prizes because I don't need the second extra stamp set. And you may be wondering, why do you get 2 kits? Because only subscribers are allowed to get refills, okay, in the Stampin' Up catalog, only current subscribers. But I tend by the time I get to Stampin' Up and try to get the refill, they're usually out of refills. So that's the reason I get the second kit. And I get a discount anyway as a demonstrator. So what I do is like these are prizes, and sometimes the whole kit is a prize, but I always have extra little stamping spots and stamps because I don't need 2 sets of stamps. Okay, you get little tissue paper wrapped in there, and then you get your little directions, which I did show you the directions. Okay, and then you get supplies. Now my kit was used so much, it's in smithereens. So, but that's why I wanted to show you what a new kit would look like. And definitely use scissors to cut it open so you don't mess up your cards. I mean, there were little things I didn't even use yet, like these tiny little cute, adorable paper clips that sort of, I didn't need them, so I didn't use them. I mean, I didn't need them for my particular project and visions of what I was doing, so I didn't use them. But there's so much I could still do with my leftovers in my kit. So you get this twine. So this is linen twine, and these little tiny paper clips, super cute. Sequins. And by the way, if you subscribe right now, you're not going to get this month's kit, the one I'm showing you, because that's the whole point of subscribing, is it's a surprise. Okay? You don't know what you're going to get. But I'm showing you what I got this month in July to give you an idea of the amount of stuff that comes in a kit. About 8 times a year we get something has to do with cards. And then a few times a year we get something having to do with like 3D projects or home decor. These are those little foams I told you about that you stick behind things. I just love those. They're like the circle foams to make it 3D. You get some mini Stampin' dimensionals, and then you get your little elements. These are already pre-cut. This is the garden lane coordination. These were the woven threads coordination with those colors, the seaside spray and the pretty peacock and the terracotta tile. You get coordinating envelopes. You get 3 of each. See? 3 with the pretty peacock, 3 with the mint macron, and 3 with the nautical. The map in the background that has a night of navy. You get 3 of these. Sahara sand cards. 3 little things that you can punch out the circles and things for the sailboats. Pretty cool. Oh, there are the clouds. I don't know if you can see the clouds, crafty friends. Can you see? There we go. Better angle. 3 cards like this, and you saw what I did with those, and 3 little sprigs of mossy meadow, 6 little sprigs of, probably that's pear pizzazz, I believe, or it could be, who knows, old olive, but I think it's pear pizzazz, and maybe old olive because I have to check. And these are those cool textured cards, which I think make great bookmarks, made of craft paper. Okay. Oh, I love all these nautical elements. And then you get these foiled things to make with your sentiments. And now I just want to show you real quick before I end, is that these stamps, I needed to put those on a white background so you could see them, that was the medallion I used a lot with the terracotta tile. And that was the seashell that I cut and used my 1 piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I cut those out with my brother's ScanNCut, and there are the sentiments that come in this set. So thank you for watching. I hope you're inspired to do something different with your paper pumpkin kit this month, and I hope to see you again on my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. This is the Papered Chef.